Hi, this is Helen. I'm from Menus4ALL and I'm the CEO. This is a presentation of our screensaver images that we have included for the National Federation for the Blind. This is a picture of Gladys, one of our user testers from 2018 at our kickoff event. And she is using our device on her iPhone. Slide 2. This is the projection of the revenue on an annual basis based on the population in 2015 from the U.S. Census. We took the combined populations of people under the age of 65 that have a blindness or a visual impairment, and then grouped them in with the number of individuals over 65 that suffer from some kind of visual impairment at all. From the census, that gives us 51 million people in the United States. If everyone in this group was to eat out once a week by themselves and spending $9 on a meal included, the impact on the U.S. population would be $23 billion a year. Slide 3. This is the why behind why it makes sense now to have this product. This is some interesting data that we pulled, and one of them is in 2015. Apple became a forefront in assistive technology. They made a bold move. They made assistive technology available through their iOS for free. So it made it so that people that needed assistive technology could have a portable and practical way to be able to be out and about and be able to access digital data. Our second point is there's been a shift in the United States population in a behavior, a key behavior. In 2015, there's data that shows that people are spending more eating out than they are at the grocery store. Our last data point is that Americans are now spending more times on their mobile devices. It's increased over the last several years. Granted, this is slightly older data, but at this time in 2016, the data showed that we were spending 3.5 hours on our phones, and that is the general public. Slide 4. This shows some of the problems that Menus4ALL addresses for restaurant owners. The first one is 65% of customers will check out a menu online before they come to the restaurant. 73% of customers do not have a sense of trust on a menu they look at online if the information is not correct. And 70% of restaurant owners said that they could not find the time to update their menus. And lastly, American restaurants that are sued successfully for American Disabilities Act, typically the lawsuits will be settled out between $4,000 and $6,000. This slide states what are the food issues that some people that have visual impairments and blindness face. Some people do not have mobility skills to the level that grocery shopping is something that isn't time-consuming and arduous. The same bodes true with some people whose skills are not to par that are able to cook. There are definitely people in the population that have these skills, have support networks where these are not issues. And our last data point is that reading menus typically is something that is arduous and takes more time for someone that is blind or visually impaired. This slide is about the visually impaired population in the United States based on the most recent current U.S. Census data. It has a picture of a young lady walking through the park, youngish lady in a sweatsuit with a white cane, and it has an I Love New York picture on it, and in that we have some data that we pulled not from the U.S. Census, but an organization called Visions Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired based in New York City. And for just the New York City population, their data is that they have 363,000 people that are declared as severe visual impairment, and then they have 60,000 that are defined as blind. Then to the left of that picture is an overview of some key cities in the United States and their population data. We have Dallas, Texas at 1,300,000, San Diego, California, 1,300,000, Charlotte, North Carolina, 800,000. Seattle, Washington at 700,000. Memphis, Tennessee at 640,000. Wichita, Kansas at 635,000. New York City at 363,000. Berkeley, California at 116,000. And lastly, but not least, is Kalamazoo, Missouri with 73,000 individuals. Our next slide is entitled Diabetic Eye Disease Projections. And the source for this information is the Prevention of Blindness Study, which is October 21st, 2016. So in 2015, their baseline is they're showing that there were 8 million people suffering from diabetic eye disease. They're projecting by 2032 there'll be 11 million people. And then their final projection is 2050, there'll be 13 million people suffering from diabetic eye diseases. Our next slide is entitled Why and How, Menus for All. And it states our mission and some information about why and what we're doing, and talks about the city that we're targeting our first pilot project for. That would be Menus for All makes accessible restaurant menus easy for everyone. We help restaurant menus address ADA requirements at just 96 cents a day. We help the 640,000 visually impaired people in the Memphis area first. That's where we're piloting this project and kicking it off and perfecting it. And we're also making a small impact on the 70% of the unemployment rate of people here in the visually impaired community in Memphis by employing people to be on our sales staff. Now this new slide is entitled Menus for All, How It Works. And we're going to state the 4 steps it takes to get a menu to display on your screen. The first one is to pull up your mobile device. It can be an Android, it can be an iPhone, it can even be a tablet as well, as long as you have internet connection. So that's step 1, make sure you have internet connection. Step 2, open the Menus for All website. Step 3, when your device says that it needs permission to your location, you need to select yes or okay. And then fourthly, the menu will load. Now, if you are a Braille reader, you can plug in your Braille display and you will be able to read the menu. If you like to be able to listen to things on your mobile device, you can engage your screen reader, whatever one that you prefer. If you are low vision, you can tilt the screen or the tablet so that the orientation is wide as possible and the text will get as large as it can. If you need additional enlargement or you would like to see maybe different color background or text, please see the widget in the top right hand corner for all those accessibility tools that you can play with. This slide is a picture of user testing being conducted at a pizza restaurant in Little Rock, Arkansas in November of 2016, the day after Thanksgiving, where we took 4 visually impaired gentlemen out for pizza for the day, for the afternoon rather. And we had a contest between how quickly the Braille menu could be read in the restaurant and how quickly our prototype could be used. This is one of many prototypes. We've gone through at least 21 prototypes to date now, but this was the very beginning of doing user testing live in restaurants. It was fun, it was a blast, and we're excited to see what the future brings for Menus for All. And now we're to our last slide. We've got a picture of someone who inspired me as I was a child. It's Helen Keller. It's a picture of her with one hand on a book and one hand on one of her dogs when she was probably in her teens. And one of her quotes that has kept me focused and engaged in this project and knowing that we can make this happen. It says, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." Helen Keller. And then our contact information. I'm Helen, and my email is helen@menus4all.com. Please reach out to me. And then my sales manager, Stephanie Jones, and her email is sales@menus4all.com. And we are incorporated, and we are in incorporated and located in Memphis, Tennessee. And if you'd like to contact us or get together with our growing community of people, you can reach us at Facebook. We also are on Twitter, and you can check out our fun, yummy pictures with great captions on Instagram as well. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this and learn about Menus for All.